that really impressed me from Argentina. But I don't know if it's because it was the Olympics or what. But they just had such a surreal tournament. But let's move into Fiji. Obviously, Fiji, they won the final. They took down Australia 19-0. I thought their defense was unbelievable. I thought that Tui Vuaka was obviously my player of the tournament. I thought yes, you could obviously make an argument for Monietta from Argentina, but Tui Vuaka is not a guy that you've seen before. Like he's got the pace, but he's unbelievable power-wise. Like it's actually ridiculous what this guy was doing on the field. He was just running at players, and they were getting crushed, dude. Like they were getting absolutely crushed, and this guy just had it all. And obviously, let's go have a look at this team lineup here. They had obviously Kalioni Nasoko, they had Vakoro Billy, Devon Langi, Masi, Sami Radraja, who actually, we talked about this before. He actually had a really quiet tournament, to be honest with you. Yeah, then obviously Botitu, Nazungu, Balada, Waningolo had a good tournament, Tuimamba and Jerry Tuai, and another young bloke who's coming through, Sireli Mangala. I tell you what, keep this guy in your thoughts. But yeah, what do you think of Fiji, man? I thought the Tui Vuaka was unbelievable, but Mangala's coming through.
That is true. I know that the Fijian names sound a lot better when you say them than I do, that is for sure. I struggle big time with some of those pronunciations. But yeah, overall, like it was pretty much everything that I had heard up to this point about Fiji in terms of the speed, the power, the unpredictability at times as well, was just all put together like kind of perfectly in a few of those games. Like, because on the first day, they struggled a little bit. Fiji,
absolutely.
But that was
the first game against Japan, 24-19. Jeez, I was thinking like, wow, this actually could be them done. Well, not them done, but I thought, geez, that's not a good one.
Because what was the result in that second game as well? I don't think it was a massive runaway.
It was like 28-14 against Canada, I think it was. And Canada's not great usually. They're definitely below. Well, I'd say they're kind of just below Kenya and Argentina on the normal world circuit. But yeah, absolutely. Their first day was was massively disappointing.
Yeah, but then they just fired out on all cylinders in that second one. And just all of a sudden, like that first game, it's as if all of the nerves, all of the like nervous energy had just gone completely away and they were back to playing like Fiji can. And it just took them all the way to that final to face off against the Kiwis, which also they played extremely well in that game, 27 points to 12 in that one as well.
Yeah, I never really saw New Zealand have a chance in that game. And I said this before the game too. I think that when Fiji were coming up against New Zealand, like this was to obviously go back to back as well. New Zealand had never won the goal before. That's like that's fine as well. But overall, this was to go back to back, and with kind of I guess it just meant more to Fiji. You could see the whole time how much more it meant to them to win this for people back home, because it is tough back home in Fiji. Vitor Levi was going through a real tough time with the pandemic, and so is everyone around the world. But I guess for Fiji, we all know what it means. Well, I know what it means to Fijians. This is the number one sport of the country. This is something that is actually really, it put tingles down my spine when I heard this. But apparently with the COVID-19 pandemic hotline where they can call up for emergencies and whatnot, apparently the only time that has ever gone quiet in the last year and a half has been for when that Sevens game was on, and it was a 0 calls for the entire game. And that tells you everything you need to know about how much people care about Sevens in Fiji. I'm kind of actually getting a little bit emotional talking about that because it's just crazy. But, just the way those lads played this time around was just incredible. They never gave New Zealand a chance, and they never looked back, even against Australia when they won 19-0. Australia kept pushing. Australia weren't great this tournament, but Australia were pushing. But then late on in that game, Fiji just defensively were just too solid, and they just took it away. And then we saw them against Argentina. It was too easy against Argentina. They like Argentina put up a fight, but I knew Fiji were winning. And then, they took down New Zealand. So, no, it was really, like I said, I cried on my stream. I cried when Fiji won. It was emotional for me because I know how much it means to Fiji. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I could see it in my chat as well while it was going. They were saying that, like, they could hear the fireworks in the background and the celebration and everything as well. Like, it was just the absolute, like, it must have been a pinnacle for Fiji. Like you mentioned, it's been very tough for them. So to have a gold medal, and not just a gold, but also a bronze for the female sevens or women's sevens as well, is just absolutely awesome for them. Like, to be able to have so many medals in a sport.
When it comes to, because that's obviously the only medals that they've ever won, the Olympics. So the reason why the first Olympics was so special in 2016 was not only was that their first gold medal ever in the Olympics, but that was their first medal in Olympics in any sport. So, that was an incredible moment there. And, we move into 2021 now, when we are at Tokyo, which was meant to be last year. But, now not only did they get a gold in the men's, but they got the bronze in the women's, which is so pivotal, because I'm going to tell you the truth, man. Fiji women, the Fijiana, it's kind of a joke. It has been a joke in Fiji for quite some time, because one, they've never really been good. Two, without going in too deep, there is a lot of political things that are involved in regards to the women's game being successful, and cultural things that are difficult to see it progress. So when it does progress to the point where they were able to not only provide a really good showing in the group stages,